VroomVroomDana. Today's gonna be a pretty freaking awesome video. There's really no way around that. I mean, we got the battle of the ages, something that's probably been talked about more than like Jesus and aliens. Like, what started what? I think the 2-stroke versus 4-stroke talk kind of beats everything. And before we even get into the video, let me know down below, man, what team are you guys? Are you 2-stroke or are you 4-stroke? Comment down below. Battle it out with your fellow friends. Battle it out with your fellow people watching the video, because maybe I'll change your opinion today, maybe I'll change your mind. But like I said, man, today we got a 2015 YZ250 2-smoker, which we're on right now. We're going to do a little bit of a video on it real quick, go over some of the things on the YZ250. Then we're going to go back and we're going to jump on the 2015 YZ250F. First off, this is the YZ250. It's the 2015 YZ250. I got her set up pretty good, man. She's dialed for my type of riding. And also, I just want to give a quick, huge shout out to Fusion Graphics for hooking it up with my numbers in time for race season. I just ended up finishing a National Hare and Hound round 1, and Fusion Graphics got my graphics out before the first race. So if you guys are looking for graphics, it's where I get all my graphics, man. It doesn't matter if you hammer your bikes, they're the top of the line graphics. They supply all my dirt bikes with graphics, and they always do an amazing job. So if you're looking for a graphics kit, head over to Fusion Graphics, and I guarantee they could get you what you want and customize anything that you would like. You could tell I got the IMS tank on her. I got her set up right now for off-road, for desert racing. I would switch out sometimes stock tank if I'm doing enduro cross, if I did GPs, kind of depending on the type of riding. But mainly this has transferred into my pure 100% desert off-road machine. So you can tell we got the IMS tank, we got the Scott steering stabilizer. I kind of have her set up like a YZ250X. I got a 12-ounce flywheel weight in her. I threw on an 18-inch rear wheel, so we got front and back new wheels. The front's still obviously a 21, but we threw an 18 on the back. That way I have a little bit thicker of a sidewall for off-road. Got the gold O-ring chain. We got like some parts to help protect everything. We got the TMD, TM Design Works, like chain guards. We got the spark arrestor on there for off-roading. We got aftermarket shifters. We got a Barnett clutch in there. We got an FMF fatty on this bike. Like I said, she's pretty dialed, and she definitely is a fast machine. There's no way around it. If you know, also we got the hydraulic clutch. We threw a Magura hydraulic clutch on the YZ250. That's probably one of my main complaints about the YZ250, is for some reason it has, at least I've always had a problem with it, but I've also never had a off the showroom bike, as I've always had problems with my YZ250s having a little bit of a harder of a clutch pull. It didn't matter if I changed cables, it didn't matter about all that. And then we threw in the Barnett clutch, which is a heavier clutch, a little bit tougher of a clutch, so it made it even harder to pull. So we threw on a hydraulic clutch, and it honestly made a world of difference. It's like one of the best mods I have on the bike. Like I said, man, this thing's dialed. This bike is fast. There's no way around that. I believe it's geared at a 1448. And with that being said, we're gonna go do some trails on her. We're gonna jump on her, we're gonna ride her, and then like I said, we're gonna go back and pick up the YZ250F and kind of compare the two and see which one outshines the other in specific areas. First thing you notice about the YZ250 2-stroke is how fast she is out of the gate. That's probably what shines most with the YZ250 2-stroke compared to a 4-stroke, is how fast she is just right out, man. Like, she rips. This is why I love the YZ250 2-stroke so much when I go do desert racing and everything, is because in desert racing, obviously, you're on a bomb, you're doing a dead engine start, and usually 2-strokes do not have too much of a problem when it comes to starting the bike. So 2-strokes are pretty good on that. And also, if you're looking to get a whole shot, a YZ250 is going to be your best friend in the 250 class. If we get this bad girl up this hill right here, really dry, really rutted, should be a good test for us. So let's see what we can do. Oh man, little squirrely out of the gate. Got lots of back end right there, but as you can tell with the flywheel weight, with the 18 on the back, the YZ250 really chugs up hills, and it does it very well. That's one of the things I like about having the flywheel weight. And obviously it's going to depend on what type of riding you do. If you did 100% pure motocross or you're doing track, a flywheel weight's probably not going to benefit you. But if you're an enduro rider, if you're an off-road rider, and you throw one of these flywheel weights, it really tones down that just harsh action when you're going up hills, especially steep hills, or you're going over something gnarly, or you're going down something really gnarly. It helps the engine stay running, and it allows you to lug up things really well. Sometimes I'll be doing like a desert race, and it'll just be this gnarly hill, and it's just rocks everywhere, loose rocks. Instead of going in first, I'll put it in second gear. That way I could kind of reduce the rear wheel spin, and with the flywheel weight, I'll just chug up the hills, just nice and slow, just chug, and you almost ride it like a four-stroke, because that's one of the benefits of a four-stroke, obviously, is you could chug up anything. It doesn't matter if you're on the YZ250, a 450, we also got the WR450. The biggest thing I noticed between the two-strokes and the four-strokes is how easy it is to chug up things on a four-stroke. You kind of just sit down, and you can kind of go up anything, and it's super mellow. And the two-stroke, it's touchy, so if you give it too much, you're going to just get a lot of wheel spin. It's going to throw you out. You're going to get wishy-washy. So the flywheel weight definitely helps in that. It kind of helps your hill climbs and the really loose, tacky conditions. But like I said, it's not quite a four-stroke, and it doesn't lug up one like a four-stroke. But then again, you could get a two-stroke close, but it's still not the same. That leads into the whole entire thing is, are you racing? Are you trying to have fun on a dirt bike? What exactly is your goals when you're on a dirt bike? Because if you're going out just to have fun, if you're just going out on weekends with friends, dude, a two-stroke is so freaking fun. When it comes to two-strokes and four-strokes, if you're looking for pure like smile factor, if you're just trying to put a smile on your face, a two-stroke is gonna win every single time. Because like I said, all you gotta do is give a two-stroke a little bit of gas, and she rips, and it's like, man, you better hold on or you're gonna be going down. And that's the awesome thing about a two-stroke, is it puts that smile on your face, man. You just give it a load of throttle and you're in for a ride. And that's what is so cool about a two-stroke. It just has all that power right away, and it just slingshots you. Again, a lot of people may not like that, especially if you're racing, if you're trying to reduce arm pump. That may not be the best option for you, depending on what you're trying to do. Obviously, all of us are not going to be in the shape of Eli Tomac and these top off-road racers as Taylor Roberts or Cody Webb. We're all not going to be in this top shape, so you got to realize also, and this benefits me a lot also, because obviously I'm not in the best shape I've ever been in. So when it goes to riding a two-stroke compared to a four-stroke, the two-stroke throws out some gnarly arm pump. Like I said, although the two-smoker is fun to ride, when you gotta hold on to a two-stroke, when you're going fast, when you're going up hills, it wants to get away from you. I mean, there's no doubt about it that a two-stroke wants to pull you off the bike. That's the main goal of a two-stroke, is to throw you on the ground. So holding on to that bike for a long period of time really wears you out sometimes. There's been times, man, where I'll be riding the YZ250, especially for a long period of time. You know, you're doing a desert race that's 2 hours long, 80 miles, 3 hours long, and you're about 60, 50 miles into the race, and you're like, man, dude, this bike is beating me up. You're tired of hanging on to it. It's throwing you off, you know? It's giving you massive arm pump, and that's something a two-stroke could do if you're not in tip-top shape, is throw a lot of arm pump your way. Like I said, man, it's depending on the riding you want to do. Are you serious? Are you play riding? It it goes off of what kind of riding you want to do, because a two-smoker shines in so many situations, and it's such a fun bike to ride, especially in enduro, because enduro you lug the hell out of a two-stroke, and you can lug it really, really low, especially if you're on like a 300 or something. You could do pivot turns super easy on a two-stroke, because it just pops right up, and that's why you see a lot of enduro guys riding the two-smokers. So although it is personal preferences, some of them do shine in certain areas. And if you're looking to do motocross, if you're looking to do desert, if you're looking to do enduro, depending on what you want to ride, that's probably going to put a pretty big impact on the bike you want to choose. So with that being said, let's stop for a second. Let's stop talking about it, and let's go pick up the 250 4-stroke and hop on that bike for a minute. Now we got the 2015 YZ250F. I know you guys have not seen her in a while. I've done a few upgrades since I first told you guys about the bike, and that was probably a few weeks ago, because obviously this one's a little newer than the two-smoker. Shout out to B-Rad for hooking it up with this sweet brake reservoir. Head over to B-Rad Products, man, if you're looking to get some brake reservoirs. I know he's working on axle blocks. So basically, if you want some bling for your bike and you want to support a smaller company, you want to support another YouTuber, you want to support B-Rad, you could always head over there and do that. Always good to help out the little guy. But this is the YZ250F. She was clean until I ran her through the bushes to get over here. But as you guys can see, I've done a few things to the YZ250F since you've last seen her. I put on some brand new Pro Taper Pello grips. I put on some Chirby handguards. For some reason, when I bought the bike, the bar pad was missing, so I got myself a new bar pad. Although they're Mika metal bars, I put on a Pro Taper bar pad, because why not? And also, man, I got the FMF carbon fiber pipe guards on the bike. I ended up announcing in the video, I was like, where the heck do I get these things? And I guess if I did a little bit more research, I would have found them, and I found them on the website I always order off of. So I was like, well, that was kind of easy. So thank you to everybody who sent me emails, sending me where to buy them. I ended up finding them before that video went out like a numbnut. But again, thank you to everybody who emailed me, letting me know about those. Also, I'm trying to think what else I did. Oh yeah, I put new clutch plates and like pressure plates in the clutch side, so the clutch is feeling a little bit better, which is awesome. I changed the oil. I put on a new brake pedal. The other one was a little bent. I put on a shifter. Sorry about that. I put on a different shifter, and I put on a larger brake pedal because I have a tendency to miss the stock brake pedals a lot. I don't know why, probably a bad habit of mine. So I put one of the bigger ones on, and yeah, she's looking pretty dialed. Besides that, man, this YZ250F, for the most part, at least what I know, it's pretty stock. It does have the full Power Bomb FMF, like F4.1 exhaust system, so that definitely makes her a little throatier, and it's a fun bike, there's no doubt about it. Oh yeah, I also got these sweet little frame guards. I basically just like the look of them, that's why I got them. I mean, I guess it helps to protect the frame, but they look pretty cool also. So we're going to take this one for a spin, man. We're going to take the 250F for a spin. We're going to go up in the hills. We're going to go a little bit different way. That way you guys do not see the same terrain over and over that way, because that can get a little boring. So it's going to be good riding both bikes back to back. I literally went back, parked the 250 2-stroke, hopped on the 4-stroke, so we could literally do a side-by-side comparison, and I could really tell what bike does what better since I just rode them back to back. So let's ride up this hill a little bit, and we'll stop up there, and I'll realize right away what the difference is. Hey, the cool thing about this bike, no carb. It's fuel injected, so I never got to worry about accidentally turning the gas off and running the gas out in the middle of a trail. I like that. know we just started, but I've already noticed a couple things differentiating from the 4-stroke to the 2-stroke, which is crazy. It's like they're both 2015s, they're both Yamahas, but yet there's like so many differences between the two that you feel when you ride them back to back. First off, this probably has to deal with the bars a little bit. There's no bar rises or anything, so it may be a little bit of the bend of the bars, but it also, I think, resonates to the fact that this YZ250 seems like it sits up a little bit higher than the YZ250 2-stroke, bar position wise and definitely feet position wise. The 250 2-stroke sets a little lower. Again, that could relay back to the suspension work on the other bike compared to this bike. I know this bike is set up more for motocross and the other one is set up for desert, but comparing the two bikes right out of the gate, the first thing I notice is how the handlebar positioning is higher on this bike and how I sit up a little bit more on the 4-stroke. Another thing that really feels weird is although the other bike has the desert tank on it, this bike feels fatter up front but skinnier in the middle. So when I'm riding this bike, I feel like the front end is really big. It probably has to deal with these massive radiator shrouds. So I'm sitting in the cockpit of the 4-stroke, and the first thing I realize is it feels really, really large up front, but when I'm on the seat, I feel like my knees and my legs are hugging the bike more. I feel more intact with the bike, if that makes sense. So it's a really, really weird feeling coming back from this one and then before riding the other one. So it feels fatter up front, but in the middle feels skinnier, if that even makes sense. But that's the two differences I realized from riding the bike for a minute so far. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about a little bit more on the 4-stroke also. We're going to lug this thing, and then the 2-smoker has the desert tire on the back, and this has a motocross tire. But if I'm stopping and I'm in first gear and I'm just lugging, pulling in the clutch a little bit, little lug sets, lug. With the 4-stroke, it's so easy to lug up hills on a 4-stroke. Like right now, I'm barely moving. I know the GoPro's gonna make this seem pretty flat, but it definitely has a little bit of an incline. And with the 4-stroke, it's so easy to lug up hills like that. It's almost cheating once you go from a 2-stroke to a 4-stroke. You're like, man, what a difference that is. The thing I realized right away is the snappiness of the 4-stroke compared to the 2-stroke. I mean, I put this thing in first gear and take off. It's just not the same as a 2-stroke. It just doesn't have that punch in the bike. If we're to go, roll on the throttle, and then go, it gets going once you get higher in the RPMs. But right out of the gate, if you're not talking about higher RPMs, you're talking about bottom end, you're talking about just the low stuff from say 1 to 30 miles per hour, 1 to 40 miles per hour, the 2-stroke really shines. But if you start getting up into the RPMs, the 4-stroke takes off, man. It's like a bullet. Honestly, it's a weird feeling hopping from the one bike from the 2-smoker to the 4-stroke because of the different feeling of the two bikes. Like I said, I'm riding this bike and I feel slower out of the gate. Like right when I start off on the trail, I feel slower. But as I start going, as I start getting higher into the RPMs on the 4-stroke is where the 4-stroke really, really shines compared to the 2-stroke. Because a 2-stroke out of the gate, bullet mellow. That's how I feel. It's just what? And then you're always on that what? You're always on that brop. And then I hop on the 4-stroke, it's like and then it explodes out of the hole. I hope the sound effects help you guys. That's like the best way I could put it. Is the 2-stroke is a lot in the beginning and the 4-stroke is a lot in the end. It's honestly such a weird feeling. It almost doesn't make sense. So I hop on the 2-stroke, and maybe it's because I ride the other bike way more, is I hop on the 2-stroke and I immediately feel comfortable. I immediately feel fast on that bike. It maneuvers well. It's very light side to side, and it kind of sits where you want it to sit. And I feel really comfortable on that bike. And then I hop on the 4-stroke, and I'm all over the place, man. I don't feel comfortable. I feel wobbly. I feel like the bike's different. I feel like it's different territory. But then you fast forward into 5-10 minutes into your ride, and I feel faster on the 4-stroke, if that even makes sense. At first, when I'm riding the 2-stroke, I feel like that's the faster bike. Out of the gate, I'm like, you know what, the 2-stroke wins. And then I ride the 4-stroke, I'm like, okay, it's kind of slow, it's not doing what I want it to do. You start to feel for the 4-stroke, you ride the 4-stroke for 10 minutes, you ride it for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, I feel like I'm putting in faster lap times on the 4-stroke. It's like the weirdest feeling, and I don't even know how to explain it. It almost doesn't make sense, but in my mind it does. Like it's so weird. I will say too, the fuel injection, man's like immediately, like look at this thing, dude, just does not miss a beat. You got something else, man. Once I get up here a little more, I'm gonna show you something else that I found weird, that I thought would be opposite from the 4-stroke into the 2-stroke. I will say though, man, the 4-stroke is a little snappy. It has a snap to it that's pretty fun. It's weird, but it definitely snaps. It's a pretty straight road, so I can explain what I'm talking about. So one of the big things I've noticed when I hopped on the 4-stroke from the 2-stroke is I premature shift a lot on the 4-stroke. So I'll be going, I'll shift, and I'll shift, kind of because I feel like the engine is whining out. Because on a 2-stroke, when the engine starts whining, I shift, and I ride the 2-stroke all the time, so I'm shifting, and I felt at first that on this bike I had to shift a lot. It was just brah, 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 and I was in 4th gear automatically and lugging around in 3rd, 4th gear. But what I've noticed as I rode the bike more is there is another, like, I'm not even kidding you, 30% to the bike that I didn't even realize was there until I gave the throttle a little bit more. Like, let me explain. Right now I'm in 1st gear. And the big thing I didn't realize at first is that I could go and hit that power band. I mean, you guys always watch people on 4-strokes and you're like, why are they always in the power band on a 250 4-stroke? Especially if you watch Supercross or you watch somebody ride watch a 250 4-stroke or ride a 250 4-stroke. And now I realize, because there's so much more there, that when you come from a 2-stroke to a 4-stroke, you don't think it's there. And so now that I'm riding it, I'm like, no wonder they're always up in it, because there's so much more power and so much more delivery near that power band. Look, there's no way around it. Both bikes are extremely fast, and it's most likely you're not going to be able to ride the 250 to its full potential anyway, because the 250 2-stroke and the 250 4-stroke, man, they are wicked machines and they are wicked fast. Coming down in between the two, to wrap things up, if I had to go with a 250 2-stroke or a 250 4-stroke, it would depend on what I'm doing and what competition I am going into. And the reason I say that is because when I ride the 250 2-stroke on a track, I'm always riding. I'm always on the corners. I'm barely lazy. I hop on the 4-stroke and I'm putting out faster lap times, but I'll find myself, as I go around and around more, I'll find myself sitting down more, and I'll find myself being a little bit lazy on the 4-stroke because of the power. So although I'm faster, if I'm giving it my all, I do find myself being lazy on the 4-stroke. 4-stroke drives into turns really well. It has great power delivery on the base of a jump. If you're coming out of a turn and you're wanting to hit a jump right out of a turn, the 250 4-stroke really shines in that area. I found myself, I went to Milestone MX and I rode the 2-stroke there and I rode the 4-stroke there, and there was a jump that would come out of the turn and hit it on the 2-stroke, and I almost had to give everything that bike had. It was weird. And then I hopped on the 4-stroke, came out of the turn, and it just climbed right out of it, and I had more power to spare, and I was clearing the jump. So if you're looking for tight tracks, if you're looking for jumps, if you're looking for that kind of stuff, I feel like the 4-stroke really does shine in areas like that. If you're looking for a bike that's a blast to ride and you want it to pretty much kill you every time you're on a bike, if you want that bike to manhandle you, the 2-stroke is a fun machine. And like I said, man, both bikes are going to leave a smile on your face at the end of the day. I prefer, personally, a 2-stroke for off-roading. I love the 2-stroke off-road. I love the 2-stroke going through tight technical, gnarly trails. I personally like the 2-stroke more through that, but then again, I do like the 4-stroke when it comes to jumping. It feels lighter in the air, especially the new ones, how the gas kind of is in the center of the bike. The bike feels a lot lighter in the air. It feels a lot lighter in some areas when you're cornering. I like it for climbing hills, and it's a fun bike because you don't always got to hang on to the bike, man. If you're tired of just the bike manhandling, if you're tired of that thing ripping out of your hands and you got massive arm pump, or you're always tired when you ride, that's where the 4-stroke shines also. So they both have things they're good at. You just got to focus on what you're going to use the bike for. And although both will do good, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you put a pro on a 250 4-stroke and we went to the desert and I was on my 250 2-stroke, it does not matter. That pro is going to beat me every time. Like they say, man, it's like 80% rider and 20% bike. That definitely is true, but also it helps when you want to be more comfortable on one. It gives you more confidence when you go ride. That's kind of what I got to say for the 250 2-stroke versus 250 4-stroke. If you want to go over that whole debate in the comments, again, you could rebuild a whole entire 2-stroke for $300. I mean, I rebuilt the YZ250, all Yamaha OEM parts, everything included, doing it ourselves with my dad in my garage because it's pretty easy to do. We did it for $300. If you wanted to tap into a 4-stroke, there's a lot more going on to that motor. It's probably going to be double or triple that price. And if you didn't even think you could handle it because of how much little you got timing, you got so much stuff going down in that motor, you're going to take it to a shop and you're going to drop anywhere from probably $1,500 to $2,000 on a motor rebuild. So you got to weigh out your options, man. If you're riding every single day, if you're putting a ton of hours on the bike and you don't want to break the bank, a 2-stroke might be the bike for you. If you're just a weekend warrior, if you don't ride that much, you probably don't got to worry about it as much because you're not going to be putting a ton of hours on the bike as it is. So that may not affect you as much as somebody who rides every single day. So that's another thing you got to think of, man, when you get the bike, is if you're riding every day, if you're putting on freaking 10 hours, 15 hours on the bike a week, or you're really laying on the hours, a 4-stroke is going to get to be very, very expensive compared to a 2-stroke, which is pretty cool also. Yeah, you guys, we're wrapping it up. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Like I said, let me know down below what you prefer and why, man. If you want to correct me on something, if you think something is different, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. So thank you so much for tuning in, man. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for everything, man. We're over like 635,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. Calling it now million before the end of 2018. So thank you guys so much, man. Subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on the video. And like I said, comment 2-stroke, comment 4-stroke. Let the battles begin. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Deuces, my friends.